One challenge that many organisations face is executive resistance to leadership programs, often seen as something for others rather than for themselves. We touched on this last week in terms of one manager who resisted the training. And you've stated a few times throughout our conversation that there's a need for the executive to embrace this work, to lead the way. Have you got a story about an executive in your organisation who has initially resisted TED?
Yes, I do. And I'm glad you're asking this because we all know how busy everybody is, but especially the executives. And they really need a lot of times to close themselves off to get the things done that are critical to running the business. Of all the people in a company, I think it's easiest for them to resist and say, I simply don't have time. Or I'll do it next time you start. This is a very busy time. I'm in the middle of a project. Got to get this done. Lots of resistance. And then I do think there are executives that really believe that they got to where they are by going through learning, reading the books, doing the things that got them there. And so they really no longer need it. However, they'll see in their team that someone or their group needs it. That's all well and good, but for something like TED to work in the organization, it really is important for everybody to go through it. And so we had an executive that really the main excuse was, I just simply don't have time. And kept at her. And eventually, this executive, I think they just got tired of me reminding them more than anything probably, which that's okay if they get to the learning. And so they went through it. And what they realized is that the learning is valuable, going through each piece of it, right? We can all read a book and walk away with a couple of takeaways and, that's it. But implementing TED within an organization is more than just reading the book. We've talked about that before. So being able to go through the entire learning path that we had in place, I think surprised this executive. What really surprised this executive is when they were able to sit down with their team on their weekly meetings and frame up their conversations from this learning. So they were able to have those conversations like we've talked about with understanding if somebody is in the drama triangle or the empowerment dynamic and just using that language that we learn. This executive was able to develop a stronger relationship with their team, work better with their team, be more productive when they were working on projects together, and actually show more empathy just from how they were able to have conversations with the common language. One of the things that we talk about is what's the current reality?
Yeah.
And when we can talk about reality in a way that is non-emotional, then we can actually make progress.
These next few ones I jotted down in prep for today. They might be different from your challenges, but I'm going to share them because I've heard them spoken out loud elsewhere. There's 1, the fear of insufficient ROI. 2, concerns about disruption to daily operations. And 3, apprehensions about the sustainability of change. Could you describe a significant obstacle that you and your executive faced, if not those? And what was the challenge? How did you overcome it? What lessons did you learn? Anything you can share on that one?
I've definitely had all 3 of them to look at. And I think ROI has always been tough when it comes to learning. That real true ROI, just measure the drama within the organization and you're going to be able to see that this is going to help tremendously.
I read out in the first episode's introduction that you were recognised in 2022 as one of the top 50 women leaders in Dallas and top 50 learning and development professionals, and that's pretty incredible. By that stage, you had fully immersed yourself in bringing TED and 3VQ into your life and work. So If this were a award submission, the question is, can you share a story that highlights the long-term impact of TED on your organisation's culture and the ways it has contributed to the company's development and success?
Well, thank you for that. I'm appreciative of those awards, but don't always like to talk about myself. I know this work has become part of the culture. It does not just sit beside our culture. This is part of who we are as a company. And, we believe in helping our team members be the best they can be. We hire a lot of 16, 17, 18-year-olds. And we know that they're going to go on to different things in their life. But we take it very seriously that for the time that we have them, we owe it to them to show them what it's like to work in an organization that cares about their people, holds them accountable for doing a great job, and teaches them along the way. And that's just is so ingrained in our culture, and we all believe that that's what TED and 3VQ does. I think everybody can benefit from this, but especially when I think about young adults who are just always seem to get stuck in drama from one thing or another. Being able to teach this to them at an early age and have them take this with them on their journey is a huge benefit, not only for them, but for the company, because we get to see people change. From a standpoint of the heart, the culture and the heart, it is an amazing program that only improves the culture and in everything that has to do with it. From the business aspect, people are more productive. There are stronger communications because they understand how we all impact each other. We all now understand that what our normal human operating system is and how we have a choice of changing that. So from a business aspect, it improves the bottom line. We know that this improves the guest interaction for us as well. We can see it in how our team members interact with our guests, handle situations. Every company, if you interact with guests, you're going to have some unhappy. That's the way it is. And being able to have those great interactions with our guests where we sit and listen, there's so much about this. I just can't imagine working in an environment without TED. When I run into other L&D leaders or, other leaders of companies, one of the questions that I ask them is, how much do you think drama is costing your company? And would you like to reduce it or even eliminate it? And if you don't know how much drama is costing your company, there's a high likelihood that it's a lot. And if you don't have any, then oh my gosh, somebody call me, because I bet somebody's practicing TED. But just that alone, if we just say, what's going on and how much is it costing us? That alone is a great place to start. And usually when I mention that, a lot of companies say, I really don't know. But then they can start thinking of things that have happened that they can label as drama. And then it kind of goes from there. So that's a great place to start. If a company is even thinking about it, just ask your team, how much drama is costing us?
I ran a program with a healthcare organisation in New South Wales, and the person who coordinated for me to do the workshop said, we don't really have any drama here. As I started, we talked about cost of drama. That was the beginning of the workshop. And I said, so can you just describe the drama that you are seeing? And every person had a really good drama story going on, whether it was theirs or just the impact of the hierarchy. And it was good for them to all just be sitting, listening, going, oh, you too. Oh, okay. So it's not just me. And it was a good thing to see, these people were leaders. All of them were leaders in strategy. So it was pretty important for them to see that if they've got drama, how the hell are they going to actually take down what they're trying to roll out to the stakeholders beneath them? Because they're going to get hit with a wave of drama back at their ideas and their innovations, and it just goes on.
It's true. You made me think about, there's times where all of a sudden people start talking about, oh, well, yeah, we had drama last week and we had drama this week, and then you start adding it up. If you're trying to push a big initiative and half the people in the room are having drama with the other half, it's not going to get off the ground, or it's going to really go through some obstacles, because we're all emotional beings. And when the drama starts, that's what guides us, right? I remember a story from one of our people that was just like, they got into such a drama issue with another manager they were working with that it got to the point that they would say no to anything that manager wanted to do just because, right? It wasn't a good reason for it. It was just because of all the drama. Well, that's not good for any organization.
No, it is not a good strategy. How many times I've seen everyone has breathed out when the person who's a problem has left the business because it's not been managed well. It has been all full of drama. Everyone goes, oh, thank God that's over. I always used to just watch and think, who's going to step into the place next? Because someone else is going to become the next person who's going to be the problem. This cycle of unresolved issues. In the industry I served, I watched it with clinical managers would come on board at a hospital, and they'd say, oh, thank God we've got a new manager. Surely enough, something else would start to creep in, and then that clinical manager was causing problems, and then everything would fall apart. They'd lose all their staff. Another hospital would gain all their staff. I'd be replacing staff at that hospital again. So I was watching this cycle every single day.
And you're so right about that person that causes problems, and then they're gone and everybody takes a sigh of relief. And then it's like, oh, now the next person has, stepped in. Now I say, a lot of people say, oh, so glad they're gone. Now I say, who's left? Because a lot of times, now there are times certainly when there is somebody that just does not fit the culture and leaves, and then things get better. But a lot of times, 90% of the time, I think it's fair to say that there's something going on with the culture in the company, right? And that person just happens to be louder than other people. And so when that person leaves and you think all is well, be careful, because it might be that it's drama in the culture.
If there were no limitations, everything and anything would be possible, what would Sheri wish for when it comes to TED and 3VQ for your organisation, the world? I
truly, truly believe in my heart of hearts that everybody needs TED. I truly do. I think 3VQ is the next step, but I think you have to start with TED. I just have seen so many people have that light bulb moment to say, oh my gosh, I'm the cause of all of this craziness. I had no idea. At that moment, understanding that we have the power to manage how we react and what goes on in our life to an extent. And I've said to David and Donna before, it's one of the most amazing gifts that they have given is to put this little story out there. If you implement it in your life and you practice it, it will make you a more empathetic, caring person. You will understand other perspectives. You don't have to agree with them, but you will understand other perspectives. And I honestly think it will make us a better world if we all would just take a step back and realize that just because somebody disagrees with us doesn't mean anything. It's okay, right? If we're all living in the empowerment dynamic, then that's good. Now what we want to do is take some of our leaders and have them read the coaching book. And we want to teach a coaching class internally for our leaders to help them take it to another level.